Hey, what's up you guys? It's Dorothy and welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna actually take these off because they're dirty and I can't really see out of them. But anyways, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing good today. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Comment down below what you want to see in the future. Click that subscribe button and don't forget to turn on my post notifications. That way you guys get notified every single time I upload a video. In today's video, we are going to go on to the next chapter of As Good as Dad by Holly Jackson. Sorry if you can hear noise in the background. My sister is over with her kids. I just got done babysitting and I decided that I needed to get some videos filmed, so let's get right into this chapter. Alright, here we go. Chapter 12. There was kind of a thrill in it, watching someone when they didn't know you were there, invisible to them, disappeared. Ravi was off walking up the drive to her house. She sat at her bedroom window where she'd been for hours watching. His arms were swinging, his hair morning messy, and a strange movement in his mouth like he was chewing on the air or singing to himself. She'd never seen him do that before, never around her. This was a different Ravi, one who thought he was alone, unobserved. Pip studied him and all the subtle differences to the Ravi he was when he was around her. She smiled to herself, wondered what he was singing. Maybe she could love this Ravi just as much, but she'd missed that look in his eyes when he was looking back at her. And then the moment was over. Pip faintly heard his familiar knock, long, short, long. She couldn't move, needed to stay here and watch the drive. Her dad was here anyway. He would let Ravi in. He liked his small moments of time alone with Ravi. He'd make some sort of inappropriate joke, segue into a conversation about football or Ravi's internship, finishing off with an affectionate pat on the back. All while Ravi took off his shoes and neatly lined them up by the door, stuffing the laces inside too. And that special laugh he saved for her dad, that was it. What she wanted, to live those small, normal moments again. The scene would change somehow if she were there to disturb it. Pip blinked, her eyes watering from staring too long at the spot on the driveway, the sun glaring through the window. She couldn't look away, she might miss it. She heard Ravi's gentle tread up the steps, his clicking knees, and her heartbeat picked up. The good kind of fast heart, not like the other trigger-happy kind. No, don't think about that now. Why did she have to ruin every nice moment? "Hello, Sarge," he said, the creaking sound of him pushing the door fully open. "Agent Ravi here, reporting for boyfriending duties." "Hello, Agent Ravi," Pip said, her breath fogging up the glass in front of her. The smile was back, fighting her until she gave in. "I see," he said, not even a glance back or one of your scornful looks, not a hug, not a kiss, not an "Oh, Ravi, darling, you look devilishly handsome today, and you smell like a spring dream." "Oh, Pip, my dear, you are too kind to notice. It's new deodorant, I'm trying." A pause. "No, but seriously, what are you doing? Can you hear me? Am I a ghost, Pip?" "Sorry," she said, eyes straight. I'm watching the driveway." "You're what?" "Watching the drive," she said, her own reflection getting in the way. She felt a weight of the bed next to her, gravity pulling her toward him as Ravi lowered his knees on the far side of the mattress, his elbows up on the windowsill, and eyes to the glass just as Pip's were. "Watching for what?" he said. Pip dared one fleeting look at him, and the sun lighting up his eyes. For the birds, the pigeons," she said. "I've put bits of bread out there on the drive in that same spot I found those pigeons, and I put little pieces of ham in the grass on either side of the drive too." "Right," Ravi said, drawing out the word, confused. "And why have we done that?" She gave him a quick jab with her elbow. "Wasn't it obvious?" "Because," she said, overemphasizing the word, "I'm trying to prove Hawkins wrong. It can't be a neighbor's cat, and I've laid that perfect bait to test that. Cats like ham, don't they? He's wrong. I'm not crazy." The harsh summer light through the crack of her curtains had woken her earlier than she planned, pulling her out of the after-pill fog. This experiment had seemed a good idea at the time, on 3 hours sleep, although now checking in with Ravi's uncertain eyes, she wasn't sure. Lost her footing again. She could feel his gaze on her, warm against her cheek. No, what was he doing? He could be watching out for the birds, helping her. "Hey," he said quietly, his voice hovering just above a whisper, but Pip didn't hear what he said next, because there was a dark shape in the sky, a winged shadow growing on the drive below. Pip's eyes caught it as it swooped down, landing on its twig legs and hopping over to the scattered bread. "No," she breathed out. "It wasn't a pigeon." "Stupid crow," she said, watching it as it scooped up a small square of bread in its beak, and another sun glinting off of its sleek black feathers. "At least it's only Only one, Ravi said. Last thing we want is a murder out there. You know, a murder of crows. We have plenty of that in Fairview already, Pip replied as the bird helped itself to the third piece of bread. Hey, she shouted suddenly, surprising herself too, banging on the window with her fist. Hey, go away, you're ruining it. Her knuckles hit against the glass so hard she didn't know which would crack first. Go away. The crow jumped into the air and flew off. Whoa, 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 Robbie said quickly, grabbing her hands away from the window, holding them tightly inside his grip. Whoa, hey, he said, shaking his head at her, his voice hard, but his thumb soft as he ran it against her wrist. Robbie, I can't see the window, the birds, she said, straining her neck to try and look outside and nod at him. No, you don't need to look outside. He tucked his finger under her chin and guided it back. Look at me, please, Pip, he sighed. This isn't good for you. It really isn't. I'm just trying. I know what you're trying. I understand. He didn't believe me, she said quietly. Hawkins didn't believe me. No one believes me. Not even her sometimes. A new wave of doubts after her dream last night, wondering again whether it was possible she was doing this to herself. Hey, that's not true, Ravi held her hands even tighter in his. I believe you. I will always believe you, whatever it is. That's my job, okay? He held her eyes, and that was good because her suddenly felt Team Ravi and Pip somehow suddenly felt wet and heavy, too heavy to hold alone. It's me and you, trouble Team Ravi and Pip. Someone left those birds for you in the chalk. You don't have to prove otherwise. Trust yourself. She shrugged. And Hawkins is an idiot, frankly, Ravi said with a small smile. If he hasn't learned by now that you're annoyingly always right, then he never will. Never, Pip repeated. It's going to be okay, he said, drawing lines in the valleys between her knuckles. Everything will be okay, I promise. He paused, staring at the space below her eyes a little too long. Did you get much sleep last night? Yes, she lied. Right. He clapped his hands together. I think we need to get you out of the house. Come on. Up. Socks on. Why, she said, sinking into the bed as Ravi stood. We're going out for a walk. Oh, what a fantastic idea, Ravi. You're a smart and handsome. Oh, Pip, I know I am, but do try to keep it in your pants. Your father is downstairs. Come on. He dragged her out of bed by her ankles, giggling as she and the comforter slid to the floor. Come on, Sporty Spice. You can put your sneakers on and run circles around me if you really want to. I already do, Pip quipped, fighting her feet into a pair of discarded socks. Ooh, sick burn, Sarge. He clapped her on the backside as she stood up. Let's go. It worked. Whatever Ravi was doing, it worked. Pip didn't think about disappearing or dead birds or chalk lines or Detective Hawkins, not on the way down the stairs, not when her dad stopped them to ask where all the wafer-thin ham had gone, not even as they walked down the driveway. Ravi's fingers hooked onto her jeans, heading for the woods. No pigeons, no chalk, no 6 gunshots disguised in the beating of her heart. It was just the two of them, Team Ravi and Pip. No thoughts beyond the first insane things that came into her head. No deeper, no darker. Ravi was the fence in her head that kept it all back, a grumpy-faced tree that she insisted looked like Ravi when he woke up, planning when he would first come to visit her at college, maybe the weekend after orientation week. Was she nervous to go? What books did she still need to buy? They followed the winding path through the woods. Ravi created their first walk together beneath the same trees, a high-pitched impression of Pip as she took him through her initial theories of the Andy Bell case. Pip laughed. He remembered almost every word. Barney had been with them on their first walk. A golden flash through the trees, herding them together, tail wagging, as Ravi had teased him with a stick. Thinking back on it now, maybe that's the moment Pip knew. Had it been a tightening in her gut, or maybe that drunk feeling behind the eyes, or could it have been the glow below her skin? She hadn't realized it at the time, hadn't known that it was there, but maybe some part of her had already decided she would love him. Right then, in a conversation about his dead brother and a murdered girl, it all came back to death in the end. Oh, there you go. She'd gone and ruined it. The fence was down. Pip's attention was drawn up and away as a dog from here and now crashed through the undergrowth toward them, barking as it jumped up to plant its paws on her legs. A beagle. She recognized this dog just as she had recognized her. Oh no, she muttered, giving him one quick pat on the head. As the other sound reached them, a double set of footsteps, 2 voices she knew. Pip stopped as they walked around a knot of trees and finally came into view. Aunt and Lauren, arm in arm. Eyes in unison widening when they realized it was her. Pip didn't imagine it. Lauren actually gasped, coughing into her hand to cover it. They stopped too. Aunt and Lauren over there, Pip and Robbie back here. Rufus, Lauren screamed, her wild voice echoing through the trees. Rufus, come here. Get away from her. The dog turned and tilted his head. I'm not going to hurt your dog, Lauren, Pip said, leveling her voice. Who knows with you, Ant said darkly, stuffing his hands in his pockets. Oh, come on, Pip sniffed. One part of her itched to pet Rufus again, just to really set Lauren off. Go on, do it. It was as though Lauren had read her mind, and a glint in her eyes. She screamed for the dog until he bounded back over toward her on his unsure little legs. No, Lauren turned her voice on him now, giving him a one-finger tap on the nose. You don't go up to strangers. Ridiculous, Pip said, with a hollow laugh, swapping a look with Robbie. What was that? Ant and Parch straightening up. Pointless, really? Because Pip was still taller than him. She could take him. She already had once before, and she was stronger now. I said your girlfriend was ridiculous. Should I repeat it a third time? She said. Pip could feel Robbie's arms tensing against hers. He hated confrontation, hated it. And even so, Pip knew he would go to war for her if she ever asked. She didn't need him now, though she had this, almost like she'd been waiting for this encounter, felt herself coming alive with it. Well, don't talk about her like that. Ant brought his hands back out, flexed to his sides. When are you leaving for college? Why? Pip asked. Are you waiting for me to disappear? She studied their faces carefully, then the wind whipped Lauren's red hair across her forehead, strands catching across her narrowed eyes. She blinked. One side of Ant's mouth pulled up in a sneer. What the fuck are you talking about? He said. No, I know, Pip nodded. You must feel really embarrassed. You accused me, Connor, and Jamie of orchestrating his disappearance for money just hours after we all found out a serial rapist walked free. Are you the ones who spoke to that reporter? I guess it doesn't matter anymore, and now Jamie's alive, but another man is dead, and you must feel really quite stupid about the whole thing. Deserved to die, though, didn't he? So I guess it all worked out nicely in the end. He winked. He freaking winked at her. The gun was back in Pip's heart, pointing through her chest at Ant, backbone curling, her teeth bared. Don't you ever say that again. She pushed the words through her teeth, dark and dangerous. Don't you ever say that in front of me. Ravi retook her hand, but she didn't feel it. She wasn't in her body anymore. She was standing there, the same hand around Ant's throat, tightening, squeezing it all into Ravi's fingers. Ant seemed to sense this, taking one step back from her, almost tripping over the dog. Lauren hooked her arm through Ant's again and locked their elbows together. A shield, but that wouldn't stop Pip. We used to be friends. Do you really hate me enough to want me to die? She said, the wind carrying her voice away from her. What the fuck are you talking about? Lauren spat, drawing more strength from Ant. You're a psycho. Hey, Ravi's voice floated in from somewhere beside her. Come on now, that's not nice. But Pip had an answer of her own. Maybe, she said. So you should make sure your doors are locked up real nice and tight at night. Okay, Ravi said, taking charge. We're going this way. He pointed beyond Ant and Lauren. You go that way. See you around. Ravi led her off path, his fingers tight around hers, anchoring her to him. Pip's feet were moving, but her eyes were on Ant and Lauren, blinking the moment they passed, shooting them with the gun in her chest. She watched over her shoulder as they moved away through the trees in the direction of her house. My dad said she was fucked up now, Ant said to Lauren, loud enough for them to hear. Turning back to meet Pip's eyes, she tensed, her heels turning, catching in the long grass, but Ravi's arm folded around her waist, holding her into him, his mouth brushing the hair at her temple. No, he whispered, you're okay. They aren't worth it, really. Just breathe. I'm going to leave it off right there, and I'll pick it up in the next video. I'll see you guys in part 2. Bye.